Hello everybody and welcome to the LFC transfer room with myself, Louis Fell. We're back in our normal surroundings at home. The internet's good, everything's looking good, so we can go back to regular business. I mean, if I could describe the weekend just gone, it would be as good as the Wi-Fi Travel Lodge. It was pretty shocking, but we managed to get away with it just about somehow. I think that sums it up pretty well. Welcome to the LFC transfer room with myself, Louis Fell, for another episode of the chat room, which is, of course, for the viewers, by the viewers, or by the viewers, for the viewers, whichever way you want to say it. This is all about you guys. Get your thoughts and opinions in, any topics you'd like covered, anything you'd like to discuss, any opinions you'd like to just get out there. Please do get them into the live chat and make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and liked the video as well. Carmino, Prajith and Jen, hello, welcome to the video. Thank you very much for joining. Everybody else who's just joining now, please do like, subscribe, as I said. Please do get involved in the live chat as well. The chat room is nothing without you guys, so please get involved and we can make it the best show on bloody YouTube. Let's aim high, eh? Howdy, it's David. Howdy, says Klopp. The manager who brings us trophies knows more about what's happening than anyone on Twitter. Just something to keep in mind. Yep, so apologies, Howdy. I don't know if you're new or not. I normally remember. I don't remember seeing you in the live chat too much, so maybe you are new. The thumbnail says one thing. I normally, you know, it's YouTube. You know, we got to get people on our videos somehow, so I don't always necessarily agree with the thumbnail itself, but that certainly represents a large majority of the fan base. So we'll get into that and we'll discuss the nuances, etc. of it. Matthias, evening, hope you're doing well. Off on holiday next Saturday, Jen, so you've got me for another few days. Camino says Darwin score more goals. Well, he's you know, one game, one goal, not too bad, is it? We've got loads of people in here already, so please do like the video, please subscribe to the channel. No worries, Howdy. Glad we've cleared that up. The main bulk of this video, this stream, will be about the midfield situation, which is why I'm sure a lot of you have probably clicked onto this. Julian Ward, of course, our director of football at the moment, replacing Michael Edwards. It's going to be down to him, isn't it? If we are going to bring in somebody new, it'll be him leading that charge. And, of course, the other person on the thumbnail is Matthias Nunes, who we've been very heavily linked to as well. So we'll talk through it all. We'll see what everyone's opinions are and what to do about it. Do we need to sign another midfielder? Can the young boys earn their place? Let's get into it. Evening, Louis. Thanks for doing this show. You must be bored of talking about it. Well, I think the weekend just gone just gives it that, an extra dimension. So, yeah, I mean, before it was a little bit boring. And I do find myself repeating myself a lot on this topic about my position. But, you know, Thiago getting an injury, although not as serious as first thought, and we can definitely go into that as well. We'll see. We'll see what everybody's comments are. It's great to see so many people here already and in the live chat. Please do stick around. Please like. Please subscribe. Going to Spain, the south of Spain. Thank you. Liverpool getting more players from Italy. Barella getting... Yeah, Barella's certainly someone that a lot of people would like. Yeah, I know that's the clipping is weird, and I can see it on. So just bear with the camera. We'll get it sorted one day. Because on the watch-alongs it's normally fine. I'll have to get Anthony on it if he's not here. Evening all. Whenever there's talk of FSG spending, I'll be here. Yeah, I thought you would be, Welshie. Good to see you. Hope you are doing well. We're bringing someone in, end of. Well, I tend to agree with you on that one. Alan says, why are we looking for a midfielder now? We should have a list as long as my arm. Well, that's why it's a little bit not too... a lot of people are quite annoyed, aren't they? And there's so much unrest, isn't it? You'd have never have thought 1 week into a Premier League season there's already so much unrest, but I can understand why. I love the idea of Nunes, says Howdy, it's David. Well, there was that clip yesterday of him scoring a pretty assisting a pretty sensational goal. We need a midfielder, maybe two. Well, we're not going to get two midfielders this summer, I don't think. Howdy says, the terrible Twitter commentator who is wrong constantly is linking Bellingham and Barella for right now. All that does is make people more angry for no reason. I think that's, I think that's definitely true. I think a lot of people have said, like, oh yeah, Jude, definitely happening this summer. There's definitely conversations going on, but it's clear there's nothing happening till next year. Is Nunes going to be an LFC player? I wish I could tell you that, but we're not here to talk about like what we do or don't know. It's more of a conversation about the midfield and about anything you want, really. So if you've got any questions at all, please do get them in the live chat. If we get Brozovic, I'm going to be kind of peeved that we haven't gone for Barella. Brozovic, what's he like? I'm sure I know who he is, but I just can't put a face to it. With the injury-prone players we have in midfield, we definitely need a midfielder or two. We're not going to get more than one. Welshie, I know this is your specialist subject. What have you got to say? Simply put, they should have been prepared for this in May. We've been calling for them to buy one for months now, and we all said injuries would happen. Waiting isn't an option this year like usual. Jen, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. The super sticker. I know I've forgotten to thank you a couple of times on that, but yeah, thank you very much as always. We lost the title by 1 point last season. We are already 2 points behind now. Yeah. All right, come on now. They were 3 points behind at this stage last season, weren't they? I know that doesn't actually help my point, but you know what I mean. Bloody hell, it's very early. It's so weird to assume Inter would sell the best Italian midfielder. Well, exactly. I mean, they're not exactly poor now, are they? I think they've had the most investment from their owners in the last 10 years, from like all the top clubs in Europe, which I didn't know. Scouse African says Jude will come to Liverpool. Well, probably not till next year, will he? Ox, Thiago, Keita are class players, but lack consistency with fitness. Yeah, so we'll go through that in a second as well. Thank you so much for getting involved in the live chat, everyone. I can barely keep up at the minute. It's so weird to assume Inter. Yeah, I would have done that one. I would have gone for Sambi Lokonga, but I don't trust Arsenal players again to play for us. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to buy from not a rival, but when was the last time we bought an Arsenal player? I don't know much about Brozovic, can't lie, but I think Barella is class. Liverpool will make a miracle, says Scouse African. Well, that's what it's almost turning into, isn't it? How about Otavio from Porto? We were definitely linked with him. Not as much Sabitzer from Bayern, but once we wrapped up the Darwin Nunes deal, Otavio kind of became, just because he's in the Portuguese league, it became quite a big rumour pretty quickly, but there's nothing on that at the minute. We should have had a second choice as soon as we lost out to Real Madrid for Tchouaméni, says Philip Bidwell. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it was Bellingham, even though they're two completely different players. It was Tchouaméni. Oh, didn't get him right. Let's move on to Bellingham, but very different players. So a bit of a strange one, but no, I agree with you. It does feel a bit weird and like ill-prepared, like almost we were certain we were going to get Tchouaméni. But then again, like the same way that I say Bellingham is very different to Tchouaméni, who else is out there like close to his quality and is very similar to Tchouaméni, if you get what I mean? Like there's no point going for someone who's a knockoff version, is there? Like you don't get him, then you go for someone else. Watching City have effective midfielders like KDB, Gundogan, Foden, etc. all contribute in the heart of their team, whilst we suffer with Henderson, Ox, Milner and youth as options. Where is the ambition? Well, I agree with you completely on that one. It's just, for me, it's where do you put the blame? Is it on FSG? Is it for tightening the purse strings? Is it Julian Ward? Is he just not up to the task, maybe? Some early pressure on him in his new role? Or do you assign some blame to Klopp? I think I don't think you have, Welsh. I think you've been, like, I don't think you care who you blame, to be honest. But I know some people have been quite evasive when it comes to the blame. They've been very keen to put it all on FSG about not signing players. But I struggle to think you can come to that conclusion without talking about without Klopp as well, because why would he have re-signed a contract if he wasn't happy with the way the transfers are going? So if he's signed, he's happy with the way the transfers are being dealt with. If he's happy, that means that he doesn't think there should be much change, which means he's happy with the midfield that he's got, etc. Unpopular opinion, but Sesko is going to Leipzig. Yes, I've got that here actually, because he has. So literally after our game, or on the day, there was a report that Liverpool have expressed their formal interest in signing RB Salzburg forward Benjamin Sesko, 19 years old. Decision on the player and his future will be made by next week. And now it's August the 8th, so 2 days later. According to multiple sources, Benjamin Sesko has agreed to sign for RB Leipzig in the summer of 2023, with RB Salzburg rejecting the proposal for this summer. So, you know, if there was any hope of Sesko coming, although I don't think we need another forward, do you? That's been pretty quickly shut down. The other one, the one on the front of this thumbnail, is Matthias Nunes. Matthias Nunes will certainly have been discussed at some point. Given his age profile and ability, it remains to be seen, however, if anything more concrete develops between now and the end of the summer transfer window. Now, I think the most frustrating thing in all of this, thank you to everybody who's watching, by the way, please like and subscribe. The frustrating thing, or the most frustrating thing, is that we find ourselves in a very similar situation in the transfer market to what's happening with Man United, and that really pains me to say. But they went a step further than us. They lost their opening game. They haven't spent anywhere near as much as they needed or wanted to, or as much as Ten Hag and the fans certainly wanted them to spend. Their midfield is still their biggest liability with McFred, and ultimately a lot of people will agree that our midfield is our biggest weakness, with, you know, Henderson, Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain still about, Thiago injury prone, Fabinho injury prone really. Curtis Jones has picked up a few knocks here and there, and lots of youth players in that as well. And having lost their game, they now find themselves going after the likes of Rabiot, who's been on a steep decline at PSG and wherever he's been. You know, to replace McTominay, and as Prajiv said, poorer stats than McTominay. Which is very interesting, and Arnautovic as well. I mean, but besides all the stuff that he's done off the pitch, which is horrific and shouldn't be allowed back in the Premier League anyway, like they should just turn that down. If the paperwork gets submitted, they should just say no, he's not allowed in our brand, the Premier League. Besides all of that, so they have signed Adrien Rabiot. Bloody hell, yeah! So they've signed Rabiot, and that was out of nothing. That is a pure panic signing. He ain't going to improve them for shit. And they're looking at Arnautovic as well, with an £8 million bid rejected yesterday. And they're going to go back in for him again. You know, they wanted, who was it? Timber, Anthony, Frankie de Jong, a few others as well. They got Martinez, although he's very short, as we found out in the Brighton game. But they're going to come out with Rabiot and Arnautovic. It's it's funny, but you start to look at their problems and you start to look at ours, and there's a few similarities there, and that's why it's not great. It's not great, is it? We had Tchouaméni, lost out to Real Madrid. Bellingham's there, probably nothing until next year, but the first couple of weeks of the season have shown that the midfield probably really does need another fresh body at least. We've left it late because we thought we'd be okay. Thiago's proved otherwise. Ox has proved otherwise. Jones has proved otherwise. And now we're going to be faffing about if we decide to go for anything. Fabrizio Romano, of course, has come out. I'm convinced this guy knows nothing. I know people say he's ultra reliable because he waits until he's sure, but when he's sure, the contract's like being signed, isn't it? Up until that point, he doesn't know anything. Like, he says the most base level stuff that we've known for ages. He said, let me see if I can see it. But it's just a nothing quote. Like, why would you bother? Sangara's also signed his contract as well. Romano, Liverpool. Bear with me. Hang on. God, not Leroy Sané links. Jesus Christ. It was basically along the lines of, we'll only consider a new midfielder if there is an option on the market. Now, what the hell does that mean? Please enlighten us, Fabrizio, on your expert, like your insider knowledge there. Like, who told you that? We'll only go for one if there's one on the market. What does that mean? What? You're meant to be an expert. And that concludes my rant on what's his name, bloody Romano. Thank you to everybody who is getting involved and everybody who is just watching as well. If this is your first visit, or if you haven't done so already, please do like the video. It really helps us out. And please do subscribe as well. We go live pretty much every night at 7:30. We have lots of Liverpool content every single day. And we cover all transfer news and all matches as well, from the morning until the evening. Watch-alongs, previews, post-match reaction, all that good stuff. So if you're a Liverpool fan or a football fan, this is the place to be. Press that like and subscribe button. And you could become a member as well by pressing the join button or going to the link in the video description. Now, whilst going on that Romano rant, I've missed out on a lot of your comments. So let me go back up a little bit. I won't be surprised if Bajcetic becomes a new signing instead of Nunes. Nah, I know he was on the bench yesterday, and I didn't think he would be, or on Saturday, sorry. But we ain't going to see him. We ain't going to see much of Bajcetic apart from a League Cup game early round or an FA Cup third round. Again, apologies for the camera. I can see it glitching all the time. Super distracting, so I do apologise. We've done that on City. Should we congratulate Liverpool with their new signing today? Oladu, how do you even bloody say that? I know who you mean. Under-23 centre-back has signed for the club, so whoop. Simicast, give the man game time. Yeah, well... I'm sure he'll get some. It's only been a game. The fact that we went after a midfielder proves that the club were looking for someone before all this started. Yep, but we haven't found anybody at this point. I don't think we need to worry just yet. When we have a defensive injury crisis, we went out and brought Ben Davis, and he didn't even play. So I don't want us to buy for the sake of it to just bench them. Well, yes, I completely see your point, and I pretty much agree with you. The only difference I'd say is that was in January. It was in COVID times. Like, buying a real, and that's the thing. Our defence was only missing one proper starter, and that was Konate, and we were willing to wait for him. Our midfield, a lot of people would argue, is missing one or two like upgrades on the squad. Konate just came and slotted in, but I'm not making sense there. But I feel like it's slightly different. It was January. This is the summer. It wasn't that we didn't have the quality midfielders, defenders. They were just all injured, so we needed a stopgap. With the midfield, although injuries does play a part in it, a lot of people just feel like we actually need to upgrade the midfield as well, quality-wise rather than quantity. So... no, I agree, but I think there are some slight differences as well. Put it on Klopp, he signed the new contract. Yeah, well, that's kind of my position. But then, like, how far? What do you mean by how far do you blame him? Like, where are we going with this? Is it Klopp out? Is it we should boo at half time? Like, this is where it gets a bit interesting and a bit juicy for me. So I'm sure we'll get into that as well. We cannot blame Julian Ward as he's just made a signing out of nowhere with Darwin, in my opinion. Yeah, but. You know, midfield has been a bit of an issue for a couple of years now in a lot of people's eyes. Klopp is rumoured to have more control over transfers since signing the new contracts. You can't just blame FSG for this. Well, yeah, I don't know if he was given more control or if it was just always the way it's been and he's always just been happy with it. No blame, it's a team effort, says Scouse African. Trent to midfield. I don't agree with that. I think, why fix what isn't broken? He doesn't need to move to midfield. And we saw, I know England is a bad example because Gareth Southgate doesn't know how to attack, but being in midfield, it's a 360 role, isn't it? Whereas at fullback, yes, he inverts, he comes very centrally at times, but his base position, he's only got to worry about 180 degrees of the pitch, isn't he? Behind him or on the touchline, there's nothing going on there. In midfield, you've got to have that full 360 awareness all the time. And I just think that's, you know, maybe he could do that, but it's going to detract from his natural ability, isn't it? She says, the blame is on Klopp. FSG have always been tight, but Klopp has to take responsibility for not demanding more after failing to win a title or Champions League last year. He has power at the club, but doesn't use it. Yeah, I got that from a lot of your tweets, actually. FSG have always been tight, but Klopp has to take responsibility for not demanding more after failing to win a title or Champions League last year. He has power at the club, but doesn't use it. So, like, in your eyes, Welshie, like, what is the next step? Or, you know, I feel like it's probably the fact that we can't do anything that frustrates you the most, but... make sure to hydrate, everyone. It's very hot still. Oops, excuse me. Man, you are planning for Rabiot, who is poor... no, I've done that already. Where are we at to... I'm just going to put this out there. I would like James Maddison at Liverpool. There, I've said it, and now I'm hiding. Well, I'd like to see what the chat thinks about James Maddison. I think he's not been great, has he? Like last season, and I know Leicester are a bit of a limited team at the moment, but he kind of came out of nowhere with a decent season, didn't he? If he wasn't English, I think we might have some different thoughts on him. Firmino is midfielder rather than... Firmino in midfield makes sense to me. The problem being he would then probably play on the right, and we're obviously missing a midfielder for the left side. Who does the watch wrong when you're away? Probably James or Owen. Timo Werner signed for RB Leipzig today for £25 million. 2 seasons after Chelsea bought him for £45 million. Glad we didn't go for him. What a flop. I honestly believe if Werner had come to us instead of Chelsea, he would have been a success. And I know that that's probably hard to believe because his main issue was shooting, wasn't it? But there's probably nothing logical to suggest that he would have been. I just think in a better environment, under a better coach, because he came in under Frank Lampard, unsettled. Tuchel comes in, isn't that keen on him. I think he would have been better off coming to us, and it's just karma, isn't it, for picking the wrong team almost. But I'm sure he'll do well once he's back in where he made his name. One of Harvey or Carvalho have to play every game now. Well, they both looked decent when they came on, didn't they? So I think that's a little bit of positivity anyway. I heard Henderson's brother-in-law's second cousin had a daughter who was dating a guy whose uncle was midfielder. I think he's available. Get him in. I think Werner would have suited our system more. Yep, that's what I agreed with. Klopp needs to stop the blind loyalty. Harvey, Naby and Curtis are far greater number 8s than Hendo. There's no point signing another 8 if Klopp's going to keep giving Hendo minutes in the 8. That's probably why he doesn't sign one, because he thinks Henderson's still good enough. And I think you don't have to look long at Twitter during a Liverpool game to realise that not many Liverpool fans think he is a good enough number 6. I think he could do another job as an 8. I think he could do a better job as a number 6, but only as a backup. He could never be our starting number 6, obviously. But who thinks Fabinho's been a bit not that great? And maybe that's got something to do with Henderson being in the midfield, but I think he's not looked incredible. He's not looked his best for quite a while, like going back into large parts of the back end of last season as well. Glad to join the football channel. As I said, Nunes is willing to join Liverpool. Ward needs to act right now, and especially the transfer strategy team can act fast and sign the player. Well, thank you, Remy, for joining the channel. I hope you do enjoy your stay. And everybody else, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel as well, just like Remy over here. As I said, Nunes is willing to join Liverpool. Well, I'm sure he is, isn't he? But it's all on us, as you say. Ward and the transfer team need to get in there quickly. Even if they don't want to sign one, just sign one, because you'll make your lives so much easier. If we sign like one of the midfielders that we are going on about, like if we sign, obviously Bellingham's the number 1, but if we sign Nunes or that bloke from RB Salzburg or anyone that Liverpool fans have mentioned, it just shuts us up for a little bit, doesn't it? It just shuts them up, and whatever happens this season, it's not because we didn't sign a midfielder. That's where I'm at now. And that's not how you run a football club. That's not how you do business. But I think there's a genuine storm on their hands if they don't buy one. That's really the only thing that's saying for me, that we 100% have to go and get one. Maybe Elliott and Carvalho could do a job. Maybe that they could play most of the season, and maybe they could get us very close to the top end of the table and get us into finals and that. I don't know that, and you don't know that wouldn't happen, right? So nobody come here like, oh, don't be stupid, you twat. Elliott's not ready. Carvalho's, it's his first season, etc. That's not my main point. The only reason I'm 100% in on us getting a new midfielder is just to shut us up. And I mean me as well, but a lot of you lot and a lot of people on social media around the club as well. Just shut us up. Take that aspect away from us. You've signed a midfielder. Brilliant. We can't complain anymore. Whatever happens from this point on, it's not because of that. If we don't sign one, every time we lose a game or drop points or get knocked out of a cup, it will be because we didn't sign a midfielder in everybody's eyes. That will be the number one go-to. And the more we lose and the more we get knocked out, the bigger the anger, the unrest, the unsettlement, and the frustration builds towards the club, the players, the manager, the ownership. And I hate to say it at this point, but if that's the way things go and we don't sign anybody, unless we win everything, it could become quite a toxic environment pretty quickly and quite a nasty place to be around. Carter says Naby will save us now. Him and Harvey are going to show levels. Well, we hope so, as long as he doesn't take any long shots ever again. Squidly says not Klopp out, but he should be more demanding. He seems to give excuses for FSG. Love Klopp, but how can he not see what we all see? Yeah, that is the interesting question, isn't it? That is the interesting question. I don't think he'll ever admit that we need another midfielder, but he may buy one. Paul Tierney has been confirmed as the referee for Liverpool's clash with Crystal Palace, which is on Monday, of course. We'll be here for a watch-along of that, pre-match, post-match, all the good stuff, so please do like and subscribe for that. We can't rely on Klopp. We need to do our part, but what's our part? We're not going to... No one, I hate to say it, maybe we'll protest because of a Super League, but no one's going to protest because we haven't signed a midfielder. I'm sorry. Ollie Chuck says we must act now and bring in a midfielder. Hendo is no use in the 8. Naby is the Thiago replacement on the left, and Harvey is too young to rely on him in the right. I mean, people seem pretty quick to write off Harvey Elliott, but the start of last season, we were saying he is the starting 11 now. So I think we need to give him a chance. I know we all want a midfielder, but that doesn't mean we have to write off other players just to fit that agenda, you know? Harvey Elliott is still very capable, and we know he's capable. I would take Maddison at this point, yeah, but that's the thing. You don't want to settle, do you? You don't want to settle. That's what we can't do. I think Nunes would be a great addition, but Maddison would just be settling, and he's not what we need, man. He's not what we need. If he breathes and can kick a ball, I'd have him. No, come on, guys. English Tax can't play centre mid. No, Tielemans. Ward-Prowse is far better than Maddison. At free kicks, maybe. What about Todd Cantwell? Well, he's at... there's a reason we didn't get him, and there's a reason he's not at a top club right now, isn't there? Welsh says the next step is simple. We move on from our 2023 target and get someone in now. We can't wait like we did with Canate and put yet another season on hold. Loads of options out there, not just one man. Agreed. We are in agreement on that one. I think we'll sign one for sure. I've always thought this, but the current situation has proven the point. Anissa says people might come for me for this, but Bellingham is not worthy throwing this season away, which is what we'll be doing if we wait for him. I think that's fair. Especially with the injuries. Like, even though some of the injuries aren't bad, like Thiago is probably a matter of weeks rather than months. It's a warning, isn't it? It's almost the universe throwing us a little, like, just saying he's a bit injury prone. There's still a few weeks left. You can go sign someone, and then you can have him back. And if we don't get someone, he's going to be injured for bloody months, isn't he? Once the transfer window shuts, he'll pick up something horrible. I feel there's a chance Southampton feels relegation pressure and could use £50 million to move for more depth and help to stay up. I hope we're not seriously suggesting we get Ward-Prowse. I hope we're not saying we go and get Ward-Prowse. Please, everybody. I beg you. Thank you to everybody who is still joining. Please feel free to get involved in the live chat. This is the chat room by the viewers for the viewers. Get your thoughts and questions in. And please like the video as well, which helps us out a lot. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support us further for just $3.99 a month, you can become a member by pressing the join button or going to the link in the video description below. We are live every night, 7:30, so please do get involved. I was just going to ask about Fabinho. Does his mobility concern you? I don't know if his mobility or what. He's just lacking that X factor that he had, isn't he? And that's not very descriptive of me. Fabinho is like one of the best in his position, so we cannot deny that. No, we can't. But he hasn't been at his best for a while. And he certainly wasn't against Fulham. Neither was anybody else. But going back to the end of last season as well, he wasn't fantastic, was he? I think we'll sign... Yep, done that well. Liverpool signing Bellingham this summer. Best signing. If Liverpool get a midfielder, Bellingham greatest. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Shahid. That didn't really make a lot of sense on that one. I think for us to win the league, Nunes is going to have to explode and get 30-ish goals and assists. If not, we might struggle. Well, it's going to be split, isn't it, between the front three? And Salah's going to score plenty still. Maybe not as many because our dynamic changes slightly with Nunes. Nunes is going to score a lot. I'm pretty convinced. And going off of the performance, I think Luis Diaz will start to pick up a good few goals on our left-hand side as well. Julian Ward-Burner account, I'm on my knees, please. No one can say for sure Bellingham will be at Liverpool. What if City decide to sell KDB and bring in Bellingham? I don't see him choosing LFC over City. The only thing I think is that that there must be a conversation that's happened behind closed doors. There must be a verbal agreement. Otherwise, I don't know why we would wait. I think with Van Dijk there was always a verbal agreement. With Naby, we signed him and he went on loan, so that's not really the same. Yes, please shut us up then, we can't say anything. Exactly. Sign a midfielder and then all of the potential backlash on social media is gone. You know, people will find something else to blame, which will probably be Jordan Henderson, won't it? Firmino playing our midfield if there is a need for this. He can't play in our midfield. He benefits as the false nine because he can give us that extra man in midfield when we need him to. And he's meant to be marked by a centre back, but if he drifts deeper, then it's a bit more shady. If he's an out and out midfielder, he'll get marked out of a game. I don't know. I'm struggling to stick up for Firmino anymore. You know, it is hard watching him drop clanger after clanger. He just never looks like he's going to beat a man. Never looks confident in his passing. I mean, that's not age, is it? I don't know what's gone on with him. Honestly, it's very strange. Fabinho usually has the VVD aura, but has looked a bit lapsed lately. I'm glad other people are saying that as well. You lot are starving for a midfielder. Yeah, we're not going for Ward-Prowse. We don't need Ward-Prowse. Fabinho usually has done that one. Anissa says, Lou, would you call Klopp out if he starts Bobby and Hendo versus Palace? I don't mean saying Klopp out, but rather will you openly criticise him? Well, no, I think we can still win. Like that, it depends on the result, doesn't it? And even then, it's very convenient. Like if we start going into every game thinking, oh, if Henderson starts, we're going to lose, and then we do lose or we do drop points or whatever, no matter what's gone in the game, we're going to automatically lean towards the idea that it was all Henderson's fault, even if it's like, you know, Virgil gives away a penalty or Trent doesn't defend very well. We're going to pin it on Jordan Henderson somehow. So I'm very far from that stage. I think, but you know, you're more than willing to be at that stage if you like. What about Ruben Neves? Yeah, there's been no links to him for us at all. If we're going to sign anyone, you feel like it's going to be that Nunes, but how much he'll cost at this point in the transfer window, with everybody knowing, despite what Klopp says, that we do need a midfielder, it could be quite an expensive transfer, and that's why it's just poor that it's had to come to this for us to decide to go and get one, you know? Because whilst it'd be great that we go and get one, it's almost an admission that, you know what, everyone else was right and we messed up, and now we're having to do everything last minute and pay over the odds, I'd imagine. £25 million, I'd take it and spend it on Nunes or Onana. Well, I think Onana's pretty much off the table now, but Nunes, he's going to cost more than 25 million. He's going to cost more than 25 million. If that's his worth, then now he's 40, 50 million. Why put the FSG business strategy into a raise in order to please fans? This does not make sense. Well, no, Remy, I explained it a bit better like 10, 15 minutes ago. Like, it's not a good business strategy. I know that. I said that. I completely agree with you. It's just it's at that point. Well, do you think we need a midfielder? Yes or no? Because if you just look at it from that perspective, just to please fans, obviously not. But there's a real genuine argument that we need a midfielder. They don't really want to get one at the minute because they want to wait for Bellingham or whatever. But with everything we've seen, with the midfield not impressing very much, and injuries mounting already, even though they're light, just buy a midfielder. Because you hit two things with one stone. Two birds with one stone, sorry. You shut up the fans, as I said, because now we can never complain that we didn't buy a midfielder, and you've upgraded the midfield and alleviated pressure on those players who are more likely to get injured. So it's not just that, and I agree it's not a good business strategy, but for the sake of 40 million quid, what is that these days? It's nothing. How about Marco Verratti's PSG are buying lots of midfielders? Yeah, potentially. I mean, I think in these next few weeks we will see a lot of midfield links. Agents, clubs trying to raise value, etc. Jen, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Question time. Was Hendo's missed volley in the final not an easier chance than Naby's? Potentially. I think I've said this a lot, but that Naby shot has literally cemented itself in people's minds as a representative of all of last season for him. It's very unfortunate. My take on it, Louis, is that I'll still be unhappy even if we win because he is ignoring good performances from Nunes and Elliott. I mean, it was always about bedding people in, wasn't it? I think he's always going to be the stronger. He's always going to be the stronger of those people, isn't he? This Frankie de Jong story are not closed yet. Barcelona are willing to drag de Jong to court to make changes in his contract that he signed 2 years ago, possible clauses with illegal info. It is weird that we're not even mentioned with him. He's 80 million quid or something like that. It's a lot of money. But now seems like the perfect... I mean, we stole Nunes from Man United. Why can't we go and steal... Why couldn't we go and steal de Jong from him as well? That would categorically shut everybody up. That would silence the footballing world, not just Liverpool fans, I think, if we rocked up with Frankie de Jong in our midfield and then still went and got Bellingham next year. Jesus Christ, could you imagine? Let's not talk about long term when we've won one league in 3 to 4 peak years. I don't know what that's in response to. I said put towards us we don't spend money, only money from sales, and that will be out for 10 million soon too. I don't think we need a midfielder. True, we have injury problems. We have enough to cover. Yeah, enough, but enough quality. Again, I'm not saying you're right or wrong. Just asking questions. Is Henderson still good enough? Is Milner still good enough? 80 million for de Jong is a steal. Yeah, not for this board though. De Jong needs to sue Barca. Disgusting how he's being treated. Frankie's the perfect future-proofing for Thiago. Agreed. 500k a month. Well, that's the thing. That's what I forgot. The wages. The wages are the bad thing, aren't they? Untenable, says Howdy. Absolutely. So, no, I completely agree. Please do a poll for us to choose whether we need a midfielder or not. Oh. Hang on, I need to go onto YouTube to do that. I'm going to have to log in and stuff. Oh, no. Hang on. Yes, here we go. Bear with me. I'm going to do a poll. I have done them in the past. I'm not a bloody noob on it all. We can't afford Young's salary. Yep, I'm aware now, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for that. Did you see the Bernardo Silva link? Could you imagine? I mean, I hate him. I think he's a proper rat boy, but I'll take him 100%. Right. Well, I think... do we need a midfielder? Yes or no? I think it's going to be pretty easy, isn't it? I think no is... I mean, yes is going to smash no. Oh... Right. Thank you to everybody who is watching. As I said, please do like the video. We've got 33 likes and there's 50 of you watching, so I think 40 likes is decent. So let's make sure we are pressing that like button if you've forgotten to. And please do subscribe to the channel as well. If you'd like to, you could become a member as well. If you want to support us even further, it's just a small monthly subscription. Let me have a vote. Yes, we do. Oh, I can't do it on here. Right, anyway. I can't see the... Hang on, I need to... I can't even see the bloody results of the thing. Right, the whole stream is on hold at the minute whilst I figure this out. Yeah, De Jong's salary, De Jong link, Bernardo Silva link. We do have enough, but not too... But too many are injury prone. That's why we must get a midfielder of the right quality. Yeah, I think it's always been about quality over quantity for a lot of people. Because I think we're all agreed that we've got enough. We've got a lot of midfielders. It's just not all of them are great. So 25 votes already. Thank you very much for getting involved in that. If you've pressed the vote button, you can press the like button. We just need 4 more likes to hit that 40 like target, which would be fantastic. 96% of you have already said yes out of about 25 votes. So... yeah, that's cool too. 26 votes, 96%. It's going up. It's going up very quickly, isn't it? At this point, Adel Taarabt might not be a bad option. I think he would be. We should go for Busquets. He's been asked to take a 50% wage cut. Yeah, but he's not that... He's all right, but he's not that good anymore, is he? If we get a midfielder, what type should we look for? A Hendo Milner type or Thiago Naby? Genuinely, well, someone versatile would do, but I think we need a box-to-box. We need a box-to-box midfielder who's got a bit of a creative side to him as well. And I think that's mainly what you get with Jude Bellingham. I think Jude Bellingham, if he was to come in, he wouldn't play on the left side, or if he did, he would be limited. I don't think that's his best game. I think his best game is on the right, would be on the right side at 8, where he can be a bit more creative, but also younger legs, fresher legs, get up and down the pitch as well, do what Henderson used to do, with that added bit of attacking quality as well, which is certainly not Henderson's strong point and never has been. I think we should prioritise the RCM position. Fabinho and Henderson can cover play in the 6. Last season, lack of midfield quality cost us the league. If we go in like this and then second, who will take the blame? Well, I think that's a lot of people are saying Klopp now, which is interesting. Obviously, nobody is calling for Klopp's head or anything, but I think Klopp has always been very, very shielded. Again, not saying that he shouldn't have been. Just in my opinion, he's always been quite protected from criticism. But this season, this last week or two, it looks like a few people are just starting to turn their heads towards the German manager and just starting to say, "Well, hang on a minute, what's your role in all this, you bastard?" At this point, I'll take anyone that can actually play the 6. Hopefully, they can have a similar impact to Kostas. If we get a midfielder, what type should we look for? A Hendo Milner type or a Thiago Naby? Yeah, done that one. Losing to Leicester in December is what cost us the league. Well, anyway, basically, apart from all that, the new side of it is we're being linked to lots of midfielders. Sesko's gone anyway, but he's a forward. Nunes, we might go for him, but who knows? There's nothing concrete, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of stuff coming in. So I think that's probably a good place to end it, to be honest with you. I think we're sort of going in circles a little bit now, but I've really enjoyed this one. I've never seen the live chat as active as this one before, so I've just been literally reading what you guys have said, and lots of you have stuck around for that, which is which is great. So much appreciated. Please do like the video, as I said, and please do subscribe to the channel. Really helps us out, and we'll be back live tomorrow 7:30 as well, and live pretty much every single night as well. Crystal Palace is our next home game, first home game of the season, next Monday 8 p.m. kickoff, so we'll be live for a watch along 7:30, followed by post-match reaction live every single day. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everybody in the live chat and watching and not commenting. You're all very appreciated and you're all very welcome. This has been the chat room with myself, Louis Fell. Take care, and we'll see you in the next stream.